So scene 3, take 2 for Mac Mondays. Slate.
Purr. It's another Mac Mondays, and I am here to really talk to y'all. And sometimes, we see this in a different subject matter, but I'm going to use it today as something that we can relate or correlate to our personal lives, right? And it's something called assets and liabilities, right? Understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is usually in the financial realm, right? But now I want to talk about it in kind of like your relationship, in the relationship realm. And that can be a partner, that can be friendships, that can be whatever it is. But we all have friends that are assets, right? And we have some that are liabilities. We have wild cards. We have people that bring us stability, right? And understanding the difference between the two is so important when it comes to balancing your life, right? Just like a balance sheet. If you have an accountant, because big money got accountants, right? And they always are going to separate your assets from your liabilities. So understanding what is an asset and what is a liability matters, right? And it's okay to see people in that realm. Like sometimes we just want to be like, oh, they're a good friend, they're this, they're that. Are they an asset or are they not? Are they a liability or are they not? So whichever category people go in, you're going to have both. You're going to have assets, you're going to have liabilities in your life throughout any realm and at whatever level you're at, right? So I see assets as things that come it's like respect, it's communication, it's emotional intelligence. Those are things that are assets when it comes to evaluating people that are in your life. When you come to liabilities, right? It's the actual opposite. It's people that you can't trust, right? It's people that are not, you cannot depend on, right? They're wild cards. And those are things that you need to assess when it comes to what you're going to give your energy to and who you're going to spend your time with. And when I think about my time is very valuable. And so when I'm looking at assets and liabilities or energy that I'm giving to other people, I'm looking at it in that realm. And you never know what you have to understand where people lie. And it's okay.
It's okay. Give us an example
of what?
Of an asset, a person, in a person.
Mm-hmm.
Give us an example of some activity or behavior that you would see as an asset and then something you would see as a liability.
I see people that are, if you're an asset, I can depend on you. You're going to be there. You're going to be solid. It's 10 toes down. It's not going to be somebody that is afraid to express themselves. It's not going to be somebody that is not going to be there when I need them to be there, right? Because when I think about an asset, it's somebody that it's no questions asked. I'm gonna show up for you. I'm gonna be there for you. A liability is when you on shaky ground. It's like you know how earthquakes are on that, that, what is it called? The fault? I don't know what it's called, but it's the fault. And if it's like that, I don't really want to I can't really depend on you. So you become a liability. And it's okay because sometimes liabilities, depending on what type of energy you put into them or what type of what you place in them, they can become assets. But we all have both, right? A car is a liability, right? Because it's not something that is going to always be there for you, solid ground, etc. Whereas when it comes to my home and a roof over my head, that is something that I can depend on always, right? So when I'm thinking about assets versus liabilities, I'm thinking in terms of what type of value you bring to my life versus what type of friction you cause in my life, right? There's two different things.
If you have more liabilities than assets, then you're in debt.
You're definitely in debt. If you have more liabilities than you have assets, just think about it. Just saying it out loud is I'm not doing anything to increase my value. I'm actually standing still or not giving anything. Because if I have more liabilities than I have assets, I'm not growing. I'm actually not, there's no value in the liabilities. It's all value in the assets. So having an understanding and creating a balance sheet, and you can look at people, anybody that's in your life, and you're like, when I talk to you, when I connect with you, when I'm doing things with you, do I feel like I'm increasing my value, or do I feel like I am decreasing my value, right? Or decreasing my brain power, or whatever it is, It's sort of like when you're always filling other people's cup and your cup is not being refilled. Assets fill your cup, right? Whereas liabilities, they diminish your cup, right? And you want to be able to pour into others, but you also want to get poured back into. So it's just one of those things where you have to assess what is worth your time and what isn't.
When you're around people that are liabilities, you feel depleted. Like your energy just feels
For
like
sure.
drained. You feel tired.
For sure.
We
When
are
I'm around
assets to
liabilities,
fill.
I feel like I'm a babysitter. When I feel like I'm around liabilities, I feel like, damn, again, or damn, like I have to do this, I have to do that. I have to do everything in order to make sure that you can be stable, right? Versus like feeding the ones that are assets to me. I don't feel that way ever. I don't feel like a babysitter. I feel like we are at equal value, and we are pushing each other, right? Especially when it comes into relationships, right? Like I'm pushing you. You're an asset. If it's an asset, that means I'm increasing my value. That means I've invested my time, my money, my this, my that into it. And therefore, I'm going to nurture that relationship. I'm going to nurture those things that come with an asset. I'm going to make sure that it is on solid ground, right? So when I'm in a relationship, if I feel like you're an asset, which you should, if you're in a relationship, that person should be an asset to you. They should not be a liability. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they are a liability, you are in the wrong relationship. Please evaluate your shit. Because liabilities, being in a relationship with somebody who is a liability is toxic. And y'all talk about toxicity. We live in this world where we throw this word toxic around, and toxic is very much a mindset, and it is a character flaw. So if someone is toxic, they are a liability because they don't know how to nurture, how to communicate, how to be trustworthy, how to do those things. When you are an asset, you don't feel any of those things, and you don't ever have to question what that person brings to your life and that value that someone is creating for you. So having those, being able to evaluate people and see them as an asset or liability, it's not that you're categorizing, it's just really what it is. Like it's the God's honest truth of like what somebody should be and who somebody should be placed in your life, and the value you should place on them. Because if they are an asset, they are going to show that. If they are a liability, they also going to show that, but it's up to you to determine which realm and what category they go into. So yeah, understand your assets and your liabilities, because they are essential to your growth and your demise. Okay? Mac Mondays. Purr.